Hello everyone, my name is Shanmuka. Um, so in the last video of the series, I've taken a mock test of IELTS listening. In this video, I'm going to be doing the same, taking a IELTS reading mock test. So in this mock test, I will also be sharing some of my insights on how to approach reading tests of IELTS. Um, so reading test is it's a bit more effort taking than listening because instead of just listening to some conversation, you have to read it by yourself and comprehend it, and then try to answer the questions that are asked. Um, Otherwise, it's pretty much the same. It's not really difficult. Um, it helps if you have some experience with reading already, maybe for pleasure reading or newspapers, something like that, because uh, reading improves over time. If you're just an occasional reader, for example, like we used to do in engineering, just read in the last day for the last day before the exam, that's not going to help here because you have to skim through the passage pretty fast. So let's cover the basics of the structure of reading test. So you have three passages divided into three sections. Each of the passage has its own questions that needs to be answered by us. So you will have to spend about 20 minutes on each passage. So you have three passages. That's 1 hour. It may seem like a lot of time, but some of these passages are really long. So it helps if you can read really fast. And also at the same time, reading is not just enough. You have to comprehend it, you have to understand it. But that is the ideal way. Read the passage, understand it, and then answer the questions. That's not going to work all the time. So instead, I'm going to show you how I will approach a reading test. And in some ways, it's a bit messy. So I might not be able to explain correctly, but explain the process correctly. But basically, instead of reading the whole passage and then answering the questions, there's a different process which is a little bit quicker. Let's say quicker, not easier, but quicker to answer the questions and get a good score. So I'm going to be writing one of the mock tests in IELTS online-test.com. Okay, I'm sorry. Right. So the reading test, for some reason, my internet is very slow today. All right. Uh, so I'm going to be taking one practice test. Um, so here we are. So basically, like I said, we have this is reading passage one. We'll have two more, and we have to answer 40 questions, just the same as the listening part. You have to answer 40 questions, and the more you get, the more bands you get. So you will also have a notepad to note something down. But also, good thing about reading is you have the passage and you can highlight it. For example, if you find something interesting or a line very important, then you can just highlight it, and then you can come back to it after coming like reading whole of this paragraph. And if you're here already, and then there is a question that's related to say Norse or Norsemen, you come here and look for the answer somewhere around that word. So it helps. The highlight tool is not just for this website, it's also available in the original IELTS digital test format. For reading, for the paper-based test takers, you have to highlight it with your pencil, I guess. Um, so anyway, about the questions, you'll have 14 questions for the first section here. So it's divided into three sections, three parts, we can say. So the first part has 5 questions. It's basically a form, just like in the listening phase, you have to fill a form. So there are some questions, there are 5 questions. So my method is read and understand the questions before going into the passage. So we are looking for origins. So try and look for the word origins or any synonym that may relate to word origins. And we're looking for word Viking is dash. So there's some kind of an adjective or a meaning of the word Viking, probably a verb. And Vikings came from Scandinavia. That's good. Dates of the Vikings here. So we are looking for a period, and that too in Britain, between the ages, I don't know. Okay, we're looking for 1 year here. There should be 1 year. And then territorial extent, we're looking for geography in doubt, but okay. But most of the Europe, possibly rated as far as away as. Okay, so we are looking for some kind of region that is probably far from Europe. And then end of the Viking age, Viking had assimilated into dash, okay, and adopted a new dash system. So we are looking for a system, and we are looking for a different kind of living or a group or something like that. Um, okay, okay, let's finish the first form and then we come back. So we're looking for what? Origins now. All right. So the scheme, okay, employed, some interest, known as. Okay, we should be in this paragraph. Um, However, the origins of the word Vikings itself are obscure. Okay, okay, uh, probably. So the word we're looking for is obscure. I'm gonna write it here. Maybe we can change it later. It may mean a Scandinavian pirate or the modern day pirate game. Okay, 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 okay. There's nothing else. So probably the answer is obscure. So word Viking is obscure because they had lost so many meanings here. Language is greatly influenced by English. So basically obscure. Obscure. The other word for obscure, synonym for obscure is vague, not really clear. So answer is obscure. So dates of the Vikings age. Okay. Now we're looking for dates. Okay. In the next following paragraph, we have right mid 11th centuries. Okay, from 8th to mid 11th centuries, we're looking for a date in 8th century. When sailed into England. Okay, it's cool. Britain, England, AD 793. So the answer is 793. Right. Um. Okay, generally agreed that the Battle of Hastings in 1066, when the North marks the end of the English. Okay, so it's between 793 to 1066. Okay, basically that's right here, but there is also one more here I see, AD 1500. Okay, cool. Okay, that's a different region. That's Iceland and Greenland. Maybe we can just highlight it, Iceland and Greenland. Maybe it's useful in the later section, later parts of this section. Um, okay, territorial extent. We are looking for territory. Okay, territory. Vikings controlled this dispute, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, as far away as Northwest Africa. All right, we are looking for something far away from Europe. Okay, we got Africa, and that's the answer. And end of the Viking Age. Issue of control, complex, Scandinavia of reading. Oh, assimilated. We have the exact word into local populations. Right, we have an answer. Right, and adopted a new dash system. So, so often becoming Christian. I think it's important that we note Christians is defined by religion. Okay, they probably adopted a different okay religion. Okay, religious system, monotheistic religious system. Okay, I'm gonna go with monotheistic religious, or just religious is fine, but I'm gonna answer with monotheistic religious system because it's directly in the paragraph now. So we answered five. The takeaway is highlight as often as you can. I am not really yeah, I haven't actually marked a lot here, but sometimes there are some very important words that you need to mark. For example, places. See, Istanbul or Western Europe, something like this. Sometimes it helps because in the later passages they might ask later questions. They might ask something about Western Europe, something about Istanbul, and you can just directly come and check. Okay, I highlighted this. There's some answer nearby. That's actually always good to highlight things. And so in the real test, I don't know, I don't remember if we can copy paste the answer, but always check your spellings if you can't, because you don't want to lose a point because of spellings. Um, yeah, I think also another thing is So if you have observed, I answered five questions here, five blanks, and all of them were in order. So if you are looking for an answer for the first question, you will probably find it in the first couple of paragraphs. So, and if you're looking for the last, for example, the 14th, not necessarily in this case, maybe the 13th, it might be somewhere in the last paragraphs. See, DNA, you can find it, right? So let's come to 6 to 13, the next section. And also you can make notes here. I find it really time consuming to make notes. Instead use highlight button. It's much more useful and much more efficient. Again, read the instructions. Not many instructions. We just have to fill A to H from 6 to 13. Match the following. And geographical documents, Viking culture as it happens. Philosopher classifies culture. We're looking for a geographer. We're looking for a philosopher. We're looking for historians, legends than facts. Okay, probably legend. We're looking for word legend. And then young people learn about working culture and economic activities, right? Young people. So it's probably it's not like a historical fact. It's more recent fact. People see themselves as unrelated to Vikings. Okay, we are looking for people who think they are not from Vikings. They are not originated from Vikings. Historical claims, Viking colonists, modern day Canada. We're looking for the word Canada, right? And then Viking conquests are exaggerated to bolster. Okay, countries. Okay, territorial loss. We're looking for a country that lost some territory, and then we're looking for the word DNA or genetic material or something like that. Okay, and then we'll be matching with this. In this particular case, I will look for 19th century or 1800 and blah blah blah, because it's easier to find numbers in a pool of words. Okay, so let's start from where we stopped. All right, so now this paragraph is the transition from so-called panels. Okay, it's we are talking about in the UK in the 1970s, for example, school children were taught accept Christianity, national anthems were understood Britain, classic Britain. By contrast, today's children can visit museums where Vikings are celebrated as merchants, pastoralists, and artists with a unique worldview. All right, so I think this corresponds to this. Young people learn about Vikings culture and economic activities, basically merchants, artists. So it's in UK today. So the answer is A here. And then we are looking for the next paragraph now. When some other, okay, we have 1905. I see 1905. I see Sweden. I see Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. Okay, so I think the answers for all these, Norway, Sweden, and probably in Denmark today, all these three could be found in this particular paragraph, I'm assuming. Okay, there's some interventions, 19th century historians, question at the same time, three countries were in crisis. Denmark had been beaten in war and ceded territory to what is now Germany. Okay, Denmark lost something. Okay, so probably this weekend territorialist, I'm guessing, is Denmark. But I'm not sure at the moment, so I'm gonna I'm continue reading. They had become independent from Sweden, but as economic variables, now they sought to create a separate identity for themselves in Norwegian history. Gustav Stamm was adamant. North Streets are Danes has colonized Iceland with what is now Canada. Okay. Okay, there's something about Canada here. Historical claims Vikings colonies to modern day Canada came from his land. Okay, who is this guy? Gustav. He is a Norwegian historian. So 19th century Norway is Canada. It's B. And then meanwhile had relinquished Norway to, okay, relinquished is the fancy word for lost. Norway to the Norwegians and Finland to the Russians. Okay, thus in the late 19th century, Sweden was keen to boost its image with rich archaeological finds to show. Okay, so someone lost something here, territorial loss. That's Sweden. So in 19th century Sweden. So the answer is C here. I'm gonna highlight Sweden here again, just in case. All right, then in addition to augmented nationalism, 19th century thinkers were influenced by Englishmen. Okay, an Englishman, Herbert Spencer, who described people and cultures in evolutionary terms. Okay, this Englishman cultures. So classifies culture hierarchically. I'm guessing this is this Englishman. So it's in 19th century and it's in Englishman UK. So 19th century England. So this is D, and survival of fittest. I'm gonna. Mhm. Student, most times there is not only technological but also moral progress. Therefore, Vikings, heathens' adoption of Christianity was considered advantageous. No, state historians do same way, especially since in this case, archaeological record seems to show that stands for equally brutal. Okay, nothing very important that matches our questions here. View of Vikings change accordingly. Victims, also according to materials. They completed about 300 years. A Danish historian calls their sources mere legends. So the word we are looking for was legends. So Danish historian. So historians assert that Viking history is based on legends and myths, and it was in um okay, which year was it? He is Danish, so it's Denmark, probably in Denmark today. So E. So you have to understand, you have to know what the people of Denmark are called, or people of different countries are called in English. For example, people from India are called Indians, America are called Americans. It's pretty easy. Sometimes it's difficult because Denmark and Danish is a little bit, obscure. In this case, let's use the word from this paragraph. So sometimes it's beneficial to know the words beforehand. For example, Norwegians, it's Norway. It's matching a little bit but not really clear. So maybe try to pick up these words, try to learn how they are called and something like that, maybe currencies of the countries. This basic general knowledge will help you answer questions quicker and to understand the paragraph much more easily. And so we are looking for the next paragraph. Vikings did have a written language carved on large stones, but as few of these are today, the most reliable conservation stones. 9th century Persian geographer. We were looking for a geographer, and we have a geographer here. So he is a 9th century Persian geographer. 9th century Persia. So it's F. And we have two more, the DNA test. I'm going to go directly here. Okay, Western Russian DNA is consistent with that of the inhabitants of the Stockholm. Many of them. Okay, so here it's kind of saying, okay, colonization theory. Indeed, recent generations support a Norse colonization theory. Western Russian DNA is consistent with the. Okay, I think that is in Russian today, basically. So DNA test, Russia today, and the rest, the other one, I'm gonna fill, which is that it's G. I don't have to read it. I can directly answer it. So it's done, right? And the other thing is, if there is a match the following questions, carefully count the number of questions to the number of answers, for example, the number of options. So if they match, more often than not, one of the question is matching to only one. So it's like one into one merge, not many to one merge. So we are done with that section. And for last section, I think for every passage, you have to, this question is basically like a important question of what you understand, what you understood about the whole passage. So which might be a suitable title for the passage. Even though they have given a passage, they are asking which would be a more suitable title for this passage. A brief history of Vikings could be, but they haven't mentioned about the history of Vikings. Rather, they were talking about people's perception of Vikings history, other than more than the actual history of Vikings. Recent Viking discoveries, maybe a modern fascination with Vikings. No, interpretation of Viking history. That would be a better title for this particular passage, in my opinion. Right? So I think it's pretty straightforward to answer these questions, but the only thing is you have to be able to do it under 20 minutes. You have to be able to do all the passages, each of them under 20 minutes, and maybe have time to spare so that you can check the answers after answering it. So repetition is the key. Try to read as many passages as you can, try to do as many mock tests as you can, and then you'll be able to do this test much more quickly than the one you did before, right? Well, let's move on to the next passage. So passage 2, Again, we have 20-minute countdown. Let's try to do this. The future never dies. So before, again, read the questions, read the instructions, read the questions. This is a particular type. So S, no, not given. This is one kind of like kind of a question pattern here. So either so each of this statement is either S according to the passage, no according to the passage, or it's not mentioned or not, have no information of this particular statement in the passage. So basically, you read this passage questions. So it seems predictable that some species will disappear. So this is, I mean, the images are also available in the actual test. So you can actually look at the image. For example, the future never dies. So this passage is about the future perception or something about the present. There is some greenery here. There is a elephant here. So they're talking about extinction. They are talking about probably pollution, about the color, something like that. So you can imagine what this passage about. You can maybe map a slide, maybe a structure of the passage based on this image also sometimes. So it seems predictable that some species will disappear. We are looking for sentences that actively contribute to this fact or actively, discourage that this is not right. Or if we didn't find any sentences, we can go with not given. So it's predictable that some species will disappear. The nature of the earth and human biology makes it impossible for human beings to survive another million years. An eruption by Yellowstone, we are looking for something called Yellowstone. They like to be more destructive than previous volcanic eruptions. So volcanoes and Yellowstones, there is a greater chance of Earth being hit by a small asteroid than large ones. Good asteroids, we're looking for asteroids. The world becomes uninhabitable. It is more likely to be a result of a natural disaster. Right? Natural disaster, inhabitable. Politicians currently in power seem unlikely to change their way of thinking. Politics, politicians, power. We're looking for these words. So try to map out, like try to make a list of the words that you're looking for the passage, so that if you find that word, you are able to you can just read that particular sentence or a couple of sentences above and below that sentence about the word carefully and understand and maybe answer the questions here. That's how I do, and it works, right? And there is a number of the paragraphs here, and this will actually help probably in the next. Okay, not here. All right, so number of the passages are given, number of each paragraphs are given, either A or 1 2 3 4 5. It's useful. I'll get back to that. All right, the prospects of humanity and for the world as a whole are somewhat glorious and dire. It is hard to be much more precise. Okay, by glorious I mean that our descendants, all who are born in Earth, could live very comfortably and securely and could continue to do so for as long as Earth can support life. Um, mhm, this is a very long time indeed. That's for the next million years. Right. It's unpredictable that some people will disappear. That's not it. The nature of the Earth and human makes it impossible for us. So, okay, probably this could be S, but they're not talking about nature of the Earth and human biology. They're just predicting. Okay. Furthermore, our descendants could continue to enjoy the company of the species. One of the swallows is bound to become extinct. So the first one is yes. It's predictable that some species will disappear. So I'm gonna highlight this next million years. I'm gonna highlight become extinct. Useful. Mm-hmm. Continue to live alongside, such as principle. There is nothing in the physical fabric of Earth. No, own biology to suggest that that is not possible. Let me read. There is nothing in the physical fabric or in our own biology to suggest that. Oh, it's not possible. Okay. So the nature of the Earth and human biology makes it impossible for human beings to survive another million years. Um, I don't think the passage actually suggested. So I'm gonna go with no. An eruption by Yellowstone. Okay, we're looking for the word Yellowstone somewhere. Oh, Yellowstone. It nothing we have so far experience shows that volcanoes can really do. Yellowstone National Park in the USA occupies the caldera of an exceedingly ancient volcano of extraordinary magnitude, modern surf and of nothing. Experiences. Let me mark this. Times Western could erupt now, but there is a very good chance that it will last another million years. Okay, let's get back to the previous paragraph. Okay, molten rock bursts through the volcanoes. I think it's called magma lava. Mount St. Helens in the USA, which threw out a cubic kilometer of ash. Fortunately, what did it throw out? Question, possible question. 18 influences, number of influences, expel so much ash into the upper atmosphere, the climate effect seriously harmed food production. Okay, something that's important. Entire civilizations have been destroyed by volcanoes. Okay, um, an eruption by um, Yellowstone is likely to be more destructive than previous volcanoes. I think it's S because it says the whole world will be transformed. It doesn't, in the previous sentence, it says like we have the biggest eruptions here somewhere, but the Yellowstone is much more catastrophic. So it's basically, I think it's what this the sentence means and what paragraph is saying. There's a greater chance of that being hit by smaller asteroids. So we are looking for the word asteroids. I found it. The universe is stretched in the dangerous to particular asteroids now and again. Small island hitting the Earth. Okay, would strike an horn, would puddle and send a tidal wave. Small mountains versus jumbo jet, propel. Okay, asteroid. I'm gonna hit. Okay, like a puddle of rocks and a tidal wave. Right, there are plans ahead such as disasters. Okay, including rockets. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Truly devastating asteroids has struck since one of them seems to have accounted for the extinction. Mm, okay, it doesn't say like there is any chance or anything. I don't think it's given here. It just says that the smaller asteroids, I mean, even smaller asteroids can affect a serious damage on Earth. It doesn't say that um, the chance. They don't talk about the chances here anyway. So if the world becomes uninhabitable, it's most likely there is a natural disaster. Yeah, again, you don't have to go by all the read all the questions and then read. You just read them and then go one by one. It's actually easy, and it seems to be what I'm doing here. um, you know, it's basically instinct. I'm not doing it on purpose, so that's why I didn't explain it in the beginning of this section. Right. Interesting. Um, just look. Okay, we found the word inhospitable or inhabitable. It's both same, I guess. This is probably an okay, in our own fault. It says on our own fault. It's not natural disaster, so it's a no. Right. Then politicians currently. I think the last paragraph is about politics. Given average luck on the geological and cosmic scale, is made by politics. Okay. Certain kinds of political systems strategies would predispose us to long-term survival and indeed to comfort and mm, take us now that is what was the next of knowledge to look at our general new light. I think this is important. Material problems are fundamentally different. Mm, so this actually talks about politics, but it doesn't say it's unlikely to change the way of thinking. It just says like problems fundamentally with biology. Let's we think politically. Okay. Ignore biology and we and our fellow creatures haven't. No, it doesn't say anything about it. I'm gonna go with not given. um yeah, I think yeah, we can move on. Okay, this is actually one of my favorite sections. Fill in the blanks. You have a sentence, you have a paragraph completely, and you have to fill the paragraph to make it meaningful. The earth could become uninhabitable. Okay, you have to instructions. Forgot. No more than two words. So they you shouldn't fill it with the number. You have to fill it with words here. The Earth could become uninhabitable and like other planets through a major change in the. I don't need to read its atmosphere. Mm, yeah, volcanic. Okay, but let me read the paragraph. Uh, if I found anything about this. Okay, other planets in the solar system are quite beyond habitation because okay, the temperature is not atmosphere. Yeah, sometimes right. Volcanic eruptions of dash can lead to shortage of dash. So we have highlighted volcanic eruptions. Okay, molten rock. Okay, here burst through the soil. Shortage of ash. Volcanic eruptions of I think either molten rock burst through. That's basically the eruption. I'm going with ash. Um, mm, I think either of them is right, but I'm gonna go with ash. Because can lead to the shortage of dash in a wide area. So it's the food production, as I highlighted here. Food production or food, basically shortage of food, not production, according to this sentence. And you don't have to put a space after before, but even though if you put, it's not going to be a big issue. I prefer not to put any spaces after the words because they are already spaces given. An asteroid hitting the Earth could create a dash that would result in a new dash. All right. I'm going to it's create a asteroid disaster, something like that. Would strike a ocean bed like a rock in a puddle, send a tidal wave. Okay, the answer is tidal wave. Would create a tidal wave. Small mountains, jumbo propellers into an ice age. Okay, the answer is ice age for the new ice age. Plans are being made, so we read it. It's the rockets, deflect asteroids. All right, space. All right. So the Earth could become uninhabitable like other planets through a major change in the temperature. Volcanic eruptions of ash can lead to shortages of food in a wide area. Start hitting the Earth to create a tidal wave. Ice age. Plans are being made to use rockets. Right. I think it's right here. All right. So the again the question: what do you understand about the whole paragraph, and what is the writer's purpose in reading passage two? So this is the whole passage two. What is its purpose? I think the purpose is explained here. That's why I highlighted it because I anticipated the question. The broad point is though that we need to look at the ourselves, humanity, and the world in general is a quite new light. So basically, the author is talking about looking at the world's problems in a different angle to change the um, basic point of vantage through which we are looking at the problems. Propose a new theory about the cause of natural disasters? No. To provide that the generally held beliefs of the future are mistaken? Maybe. To present a range of opinions currently held by scientists? No, he didn't present any opinions. To argue the need of a general change behavior? Yeah, exactly. So that's what the author is talking about. Change in behavior. Change in behavior, change in behavior everywhere. All right. So we are done with this passage. I think we took a little bit less than 20 minutes. I don't know. Anyway, so we're moving on to the next passage here. Passage number 3. So this passage is about Egyptians. I think Egypt. There are people sitting here mixing something. I don't actually understand. I think she's Cleopatra. Anyway, so let's read the questions here. Okay, there are no instructions. You just have to fill in answer in boxes 28 to 34 on your answer sheet. All right. So you have to fill A to Z. Okay. So I told you something. I'll get back to the numbers on each paragraphs. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you have to read this sentence and need to fill the alphabet that matches the paragraph. With the most I'm not able to explain it properly. Let me come back. Okay, you need to read the sentence and you need to find a paragraph that explains this sentence. So basically, recipes to conceal facial defects caused by aging. So we're looking for a paragraph somewhere. Okay, it's about cosmetics. So somewhere that talks about face. Okay, here facial treatment. So basically, this answer is gonna be D, right? And perfumes were presented to conquer conquerors in wars. We're looking for a paragraph about perfumes and fragrance spaces. So probably this is C. But I mean, it's just a basic idea. I might be wrong. So we will be coming back to these questions again. Long hairs of girls have special meaning in marriage. Okay, we're looking for long hairs, marriages somewhere. Oh, just to know, there is no control F option in the exam, so don't try to do that. So you have to look through, look through manually to find the words or to find some reference to the question that is being asked. Okay, we're talking about cosmetics and perfumes. Right yesterday, cosmetics and perfumes, civilization, pregnant, third millennium BC. Highlight the numbers. Cosmetics, stone vessels, ovens. And the first one, something Bible. Okay, something about Bible. Written perfumes, products, pictorial descriptions as well as archaeological findings. Okay, written and this is about scripture. Not scripture, scripts, available scripts, and aesthetic appearance, and shows the chain of the evidence spanning years, detailing the usage of cosmetics in various cultures from their life God history. Okay, antiquity, however, various gods applied to sheriff and the course of time. Okay, cosmetics, ointments, fragrant ointments. I'm gonna highlight this. Religious ceremonies, maybe perfumes and fragrance spices, luxurious projects, sell products. Queen of Sheba, Dr. Solomon, spices, gold in great quantities and precious stones. Okay, within time, these are the custom of the period. Classes as well as the wealthy. Okay, and the same way they wash the body. So they used to care substances, substance skins. Okay, this is about body cosmetics somehow, and ointments, fragrant oils. Um, hmm. Okay, this is facial treatment we are talking about. Mhm. Egyptian papyrus, 16th century BC, blemishes, wrinkles, Mhm. only a floor mixed with fragrance species, asses milk, donkey milk, basically. Mm-hmm. Particularly hot climate, prevalent, globe, aromatic scents. Sometimes the oil in these creams, extracted from olives, limited means. Okay, probably this is important. Scented animals and fish fats are commonly used. All right. Um, Women in the nation platform. This certification is purpose also is like women of Mesopotamia, yellow reds, the use of coal, okay, painting, mentioned three times in the Bible, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, job named, okay, Karen, okay, I can't see this. Long hairs of girls have special meanings in marriage. Somewhere here. Good importance of that. Okay, here. Right. So probably this is F. Evidence existed in abundance showing cosmetic use in ancient times. This is A, the first paragraph. Protecting eyes from fly transmitted diseases. Did we talk about eyes somewhere? I don't think so. This is about hair. No, where are I didn't find any eyes anywhere. Okay, probably not eyes. Protecting eyes from fly transmitted diseases. Probably diseases. Looking for diseases. All right. repelled the little flies. Yeah. So this is E. So mhm. From witchcraft to beautification. Oh, witchcraft. Oh, wedding day. There's something about wedding day here. Oh, okay. Marriages. Oh, I already mentioned that. Cool. More expensive than gold. I think I have read it somewhere here. More expensive than gold. I think in this actually is exceeded value in gold. Right. So this is C. So we already have A. We didn't have B. What is B about? Religious ceremonies, healing purposes, worship, and witchcraft. Okay, witchcraft is B. So I think I missed somewhere. It's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. From the Bible and Egyptian translations, translation appears to the center of aromatic raisins and license kingdoms. Okay. Okay, so part of a tribute brought. All right. I think this is G. So conquerors in war represented the conquerors. So it's tribute. It's basically present. Tribute and spoils of wars written here. So yeah, I think we're good. So again, you have to make sure that the number of paragraphs and the number of questions align, or else they can be double. Some paragraphs are left out. So keep that in mind. And we are going to the next section and the last. So it's true or false. It's basically like the section that we had in the last like the part that we had in the last section. Sorry. So 35 to 40, we have 6 questions here. The written record for cosmetics and perfumes date back to the third millennium. I have highlighted third millennium. Right. It is shown by discovery a great deal of pertinent archaeological dating to the third millennium. Um, I think it's right, but it didn't say the written record. Just said it is shown by the discovery. It's not a written record. So I'm gonna go with either false or not given, but it's not completely false. So since perfumes and spices were luxury products, they use was exclusive to the noble and the wealthy. Yeah, I think it's true. It's given um, somewhere here. However, within the time, the use of cosmetic became widespread among the lower class as well as the wealthy. Okay, so I think it's false because they were used not exclusively but also by the lower classes, among the lower classes as well as the wealthy. In the ancient Far East, fish fats were used as cream by women from poor households. Yeah, fish fats, yeah, for creams. I think it's true. The teachings in the Bibles. Yeah, I read it. Okay. Use of coal. Yeah. Oh, repeatedly against the use of coal. The use of coal for paintings this is mentioned 3 times. Always with disapproval. Right. Okay, I'm correct. Long hair as a symbol of beauty was worn solely by women of ancient cultures. Long hair. Mm-hmm. Um, ancient times considered a symbol of beauty. Okay, well, limited much time. Okay, it didn't say it's exclusive for women of ancient cultures. Yeah, I think it's true. That's not symbol of beauty, they say. Oh, it says long hair was a symbol of beauty. Yeah, it's true. The Egyptian queen Hatshepsut sent a royal expedition to Punt to establish a trade route to Mir. Okay, it's I read something about Mir here. Um, I also read the name Hatshepsut, Egyptian Queen Hatshepsut, sent a royal expedition to the land of Punt, okay, Exodus, in order to bring back miraculous to the land of the temples. She didn't send to create a trade route. It's false. Um, or is it not given? She might have sent also to create a trade route, right? Um, yeah, sometimes it's judgment, sometimes it's luck, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're not. But I think in this case it's not given, because part of the sentence is true. The Egyptian queen Hatshepsut did send a royal expedition to Punt to establish a trade route to Maine. So she did send an expedition, but it's not mentioned in the paragraph that it is to establish a trade route. So I'm gonna go with not given in this case. Also in this case, the written records for cosmetics and perfumes date back to the third millennium. The fact that the cosmetics and perfumes date back to the third millennium is true, but the written record is not mentioned in the paragraph. So the answer would be not given instead of no. But here, since perfumes and spices were luxury products, they used exclusive to the noble of wealthy. But it is clearly mentioned here. Um, I think here among the lower classes as well as among the wealthy. So it's mentioned. It negates this particular sentence. So you have to answer with false instead of not given. So so basically, it's to answer the questions is much more straightforward in reading section than in listening, because there are more match the following, choose the correct answers kind of things. So you don't have to worry about the spellings, you don't have to worry about writing, you don't have to worry about missing something while they are speaking. So you read the paragraph as many times you want, passages as many times as you want, but within the time frame. See, we still have, even with the explanation, 16 more minutes left. So it's not really that you have to rush through things, but it helps if you actually rush through sometimes. And make sure that you read try to interpret the image and then read the questions and then try to find the answers. So I tried reading the passage first and then answering the questions. It takes a lot of time. This method is much more helpful in my case. I'm gonna go to submit. So yeah, okay, I am wrong in two cases, right? So monotheistic religion is not correct. Well, they are only looking for religious. All right. But in most cases, this is sometimes confusing even for me. Um, Whether to answer with the whole thing that's mentioned in the passage or just go with the most vague answer. So yeah, like I mentioned in the last video, it's actually better and prefer to actually answer with the most vague answer, not just giving out the whole information and getting yourself a demerit point. And the other one, okay, there is a true that is not false in the last paragraph. But anyway, it's 8.5, so well done. But so basically, the band depends on the particular test. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's not. But um, you have to make sure that you go through the exam and you don't quit in the middle and you don't waste time. Manage time and then manage, read as less as possible to answer the questions is the goal here. So try to actually read the questions and then answer them accordingly and go forward in that pattern is my suggestion. And yeah, thank you and have a nice day.